We've seen so many beauty trends come and go, but when a trend loses its popularity for a few years, it doesn't mean it's gone from our lives forever. Many makeup techniques from the 80s and 90s once made us cringe, but now we just can't get enough of them. From body glitter to black lipstick and blue eyeshadow, we're about to show you the most hated makeup items that are suddenly cool again. If this is your first time visiting our channel, don't forget to subscribe and please give this video a big thumbs up. Today, we'll be showing you 10 makeup items that went from cringe to cool. Just wait until you see a certain trend we thought went away in the 80s, but is totally back for more. Stay tuned to find out. Frosted lipstick. In the 90s, you couldn't step outside without seeing someone wearing frosted lipstick. From high school campuses to business offices, everyone was getting in on this trend. No matter what makeup lovers were wearing, they always chose to pair their outfits with a pink and purple frosty color on their lips. But when the year 2000 came upon us, the color went from being our best friend to our worst enemy, and it was immediately stamped with the uncool label. Unsurprisingly, trends always come and go in the makeup world, and some of them even come back around again long after many people think they've seen the last of them. As for frosted lipstick, we can't believe they've made their way back into our good graces, but they definitely deserve a second chance to prove themselves to us. This also isn't the same shimmery color that we were introduced to in the 90s. The new and improved frosted lipstick is a lot more subtle. Thanks to advances in makeup technology, this color is made with a much better formula that doesn't reflect so much light, so the shade doesn't look like a greasy oil spill all over your lips. The finish is much smoother, and the results are eye-catching. This time around, the frosted colors include berries, bronzes, and warmer shades of pink. We hope this trend sticks around much longer this time. Colored mascara. You may not remember the 80s, or perhaps you weren't even born during that era, but all you have to do is take a look at a few photos from then to understand just how obsessed the world was with colored mascara. Everyone was coating their lashes with pink, purple, and blue tints of color. This beauty craze really seemed like it would stick around forever. Some beauty lovers would even use 2 different shades, one on their top lashes and one on the bottom. That was probably the first sign that the trend was getting a bit out of hand. Suddenly, makeup trendsetters realized there wasn't anything practical about colorful mascara at all. It looked fabulous underneath the disco ball at a nightclub. Sadly, not too many people could get away with wearing the tinted shades in a professional setting, like work and school. Before we knew it, colored mascara was a distant memory, but not for long. The colored makeup items are now back and better than ever. To celebrate their return, luxury brands like Chanel have even added fun and flirty mascara shades to their beauty lines. So does this mean these colors will be replacing black and brown mascara? Probably not, but it's nice to have a variety of options available. So, when you want to spice up your lashes, now you can cover them in a splash of vibrant color. Body glitter. There was once a time when glitter was everywhere, and we do mean everywhere. Glitter has always been a pretty popular item in the makeup world, but in the 90s, glitter was the must-have accessory for every girl's night out on the town. It wasn't just used on the face, it was applied all over the entire body. Makeup lovers eventually got sick of this product because it was impossible to wear without getting glitter all over the place. By the end of the day, those who wore body glitter on every inch of their body would end up having specks of glitter popping up in random places for weeks on end. But even in the beauty world, history tends to repeat itself. Although many people swore they would never use glitter ever again, the makeup item is back with a vengeance. No one's dunking their entire body into a tub of glitter this time around, unless they're Miley Cyrus, of course. Instead, a little bit of shimmery glitter can glam up anyone's look in an instant. Whether it's placed on the eyelids, cheeks, lips, or chest, glitter has a way of adding some much-needed sparkle to everyone's day. Just take notes from supermodel Gigi Hadid. After being spotted out wearing a bunch of body glitter and looking fabulous, she's single-handedly responsible for the return of this flirty trend. Skinny brows. Cara Delevingne and anyone else out there with naturally bushy brows, there's no need to freak out. The English supermodel definitely helped to put full brows on the map, but an eyebrow trend from the 90s has returned. Celebs such as Pamela Anderson and Gwen Stefani were huge fans of the skinny brow craze, and the rest of the world followed suit. Beauty lovers were digging through their makeup bags to find their tweezers so they could pluck their eyebrows into a thin strip of hair. Others were even more daring and actually shaved their eyebrows off and drew on a new pair using using an eyebrow pencil. But once the entire world was working with the last few strands of hair on their face, the trend suddenly shifted to big brows that you could see from a mile away. They were called Instagram brows, and many beauty gurus made countless tutorials on how to achieve the look. We all took a peek back at the thin brow days of the 90s and couldn't help but cringe. But guess what? Skinny brows are back, and they made their return by popping up on fashion runways all over the world. They still look a bit cringy like before, but it's a nice change from the bushy brows that we're used to seeing. Don't you agree? Face decals. Concert stages and skinny brows weren't the only things Gwen Stefani was rocking back in the 90s. The singer was also a huge fan of face art. The No Doubt frontwoman was frequently pictured wearing jewels across her eyebrows and bindis on her forehead. There were so many different ways for other women to join in on the fun too. There were stick-on facial jewels in a variety of colors and temporary tattoos of flowers and hearts that could be applied to the face. But before we could really get into the trend and completely bedazzle our skin, these stickers and decals were suddenly anything but cool. We're not even sure why they got knocked off of the fashion and beauty industry's must-have list. All we know is that there came a time when the face decals needed to stay where they belonged, right there in the past. But all it took was a photo of Kendall Jenner getting ready for a runway show for the entire world to realize that face decals had made their grand return. The reality star turned supermodel wore a star design on her face backstage at a fashion show, and soon enough, the face art trend was all over the place. It also didn't take long for it to make its way back into street-style culture. Pastel shadow. Do you remember when pastel shadows made you cringe? Yeah, neither do we. But apparently these colorful and vibrant shades were the butt of a few jokes during the 90s and beyond. We can't even understand why these colors lost their popularity. There's just so many things to love about them. To start, pastel eyeshadow looks amazing in the springtime, but it can also be worn all year long. Seriously, these light and whimsical shades complement almost any color outfit and every skin tone. Also, because they're so light in color, they're much easier to apply. You can simply dust a bit in the corners of your eyes or pile the color on if you're going for a more dramatic look. In our minds, pastels have always been here to stay, and the rest of the fashion world is finally feeling the exact same way. You may not believe it, but pastel eyeshadow didn't receive a welcome home party from the fashion world until 2016. This was when Marc Jacobs gave the shades a shot during the spring runway show. The designer had all his models wear pastel purple, pink, and blue eyeshadow on their lids, and the beauty community went nuts. It was definitely a throwback to a much more colorful time in the makeup world, and we were all glad to see the colors being embraced. We're crossing our fingers in hopes that pastels will stick around for a few more decades. Hot pink lips. There was once a time when the bolder the lip color, the better. Madonna was one celeb who loved to wear bright pink lipstick whenever she hit the stage, which made this makeup trend spread across the globe like wildfire. The favorite shade of pink back then was wholesome and fun, with a bit of an edge too. People probably never thought the day would come when hot pink would be called tacky, but suddenly makeup trends started to shift. Bright colors like the hot pink lipstick that reminded people of Barbie's favorite color suddenly wasn't so cool anymore. So everyone tossed their pink lipsticks in the trash or shoved them in the back of their makeup drawer. If you were a fan of this color back in the day, you'll be excited to hear that hot pink lips are officially in. When stars start wearing certain makeup colors on the red carpet, it's definitely a sign that an item is trending. The neon color is making an even bolder statement this time around. Many beauty lovers are pairing their pink lips with neutral shades, like barely their eyeshadow, and just a hint of blush. This puts their vibrant lips on full display. The pop of hot pink looks awesome on every single skin tone, so it's about time we all run out and stock up on the perfect hot pink shades to add to our beauty arsenals. Draped blush. You've probably seen this next trend all around town, but you probably aren't aware that it's actually a blast from the past. Draped blush soared in popularity in the 80s. The technique was similar to the contour application that we're all used to today. The only difference was people got this look by using blush only. The drape method follows the natural curve of the facial bone structure of the cheekbones. The color is then draped all the way up towards the temples to create a dramatic effect. This old-school technique of adding definition to the face was resurrected by none other than fashion and makeup guru, American designer Marc Jacobs. Through his makeup line, he released a product called Air Blush Soft Glow Duos. It's a palette that consists of 5 different colors of powder in a stripe pattern. The colors were made so they could blend seamlessly together. When applied to the skin using the draping technique. The shades contour your face in all the right places to give you a dose of throwback glamour. Makeup lovers are also encouraged to build up the product so that it leaves a dark and obvious streak of color on the skin, just like it did back in the 80s. Do you find it hard to believe this cringe-worthy makeup trend is cool once again? Blue eyeshadow. There was once a time when the world used to laugh about the good old days when blue eyeshadow was worn on every woman's eyelids. But while so many people were laughing, many makeup lovers knew it wasn't the end of the road for this shade of color. The trend towards softer and warmer tones meant blue eyeshadow didn't have a place in our makeup collections after the 80s. So our blue palettes were tossed to the side and switched out in favor of earth tones. Looking back at photos of celebs who wore blue eyeshadow during that era will surely make you gasp. There's just something about the color that makes it look so old and dated. It's also a very tricky color to pull off unless it's the perfect shade of blue. But now, blue eyeshadow has returned and we just can't get enough of it. It's not the same pale shade that it was before. This time, it's more of an electric blue. Also, the trend of dusting the color all over the entire eyelid is a thing of the past. Beauty lovers now just add a small swipe or even one line of the blue hue right above the top lash line. The color blue was very intimidating before, but now it's a shade that everyone should be able to embrace. Black lipstick. Black lipstick has been around for years, but the color really became popular in the early 1920s. It faded away for a few decades, and then it returned during the goth and punk era. Black lipstick keeps making a brief reappearance here and there, but it has had a hard time keeping everyone's attention. The shade is a bit too harsh for most people to really fall in love with. It's almost impossible to wear to work, and many schools consider the color to be too extreme to be worn on campus. Although it's the perfect shade for fall and winter, black lipstick has never flown off the shelves and sold like hotcakes in beauty stores. But when the fashion world decided it was time for this lip color to regain its popularity, it started to pop up everywhere. At Christian Dior's runway show, Kendall Jenner and the rest of the beautiful models in attendance wore the deep and moody shade on their lips, and we couldn't help but fall in love with the color all over again. Suddenly, we all wanted to unleash our inner goth princess and wear black lipstick like there was no tomorrow. Have you embraced this lip shade now that it's made its way from cringe to cool? Make sure to leave your answer down below in the comments section. Thanks for watching this video. We hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe and be sure to check out our friends at The Trendy to see more cool videos for teenagers.